We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew and Steve here from MiniWarGaming.com bringing you another review video. This time we're going to talk about the Farsight Enclaves, which, you know, the Tau were already super weak.
Yeah, no, I know. So, they need some help.
So we needed a good supplement.
I don't know how I'm playing Tau right now. It doesn't make sense to me.
Now, if you're already familiar with the Farsight Enclaves, the new Farsight Enclaves is very similar play style to the other one, but it's obviously been in some ways drastically changed because it's taken on the new look of kind of like what we saw with the White Scars and Raven Guard. Actually, no, exactly like what we saw with the White Scars and Raven Guard, where they have their own detachment with its own formations, but it also borrows some of the formations from the main codex, the Tau codex, or if you have the Kauyon book, they're from that. And so, no access to fortifications, so you'll have to bring that in some sort of combined arms attachment.
Force, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's Mont'Ka. That's killing blow. That's them going to the enemy. That's them doing tactics to bring it in. If your Farsight Enclaves essentially is almost a rebel force of the Tau that broke off.
Wasn't Commander Farsight the guy? He was.
Yeah. He kind of there's a whole story behind it. We're not going to go into that. But essentially, they have kind of a different way of playing.
More aggressive.
Yeah, there's more battle suits. Now you have it open right there. If you play a Farsight Enclaves army, which means that you're bringing formations from this, then there's a few things. You get preferred enemy against orcs in close combat.
Makes sense.
You also have to take the bonding ritual, the knife bonding ritual, or bonding knife ritual for anything that can take it. That doesn't cost too much. It's like a point per model.
Okay.
And it lets them regroup at full leadership, even if they are below 25%. And their crisis battle suits count as troop choices instead of elites.
Rules for fluff that we're seeing a lot of lately.
That's not anything new though. All of that was actually in the old Farsight Enclaves book.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they have access to that. They have access to warlord traits and signature systems as well. But the big thing is their new formations, most of which are available as well in their new detachment. There's actually one formation that is not available in their detachment, and it's an Ethereal formation, which is really interesting because that means that they created that formation specifically to be tacked on either to your old Tau Codex one.
It still works just fine. It can't be your minimum one auxiliary. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all.
And I did say with the Hunter contingent that I wish there was a cheap way to bring in Ethereals, because in the Hunter contingent the only way to bring them in is either to bring their command choice, which requires another commander, or to bring in a CAD, which requires a couple troop choices. But now we have that, so we'll get to that in a second. So let's start with the detachment. Now obviously this is the army that I'm familiar with, and once again we're going to be playing a game right after this. It's going to be me versus Quirk, actually, Farsight Enclaves versus Orcs. And I let him choose what army, and he chose Orcs.
I'd go into Orcs though.
Yeah, we've already played the game. It was actually very, very fluffy, that's all I'm going to say. But it's interesting. So that'll be in the vault at the link below after you watch this, or we can go and watch it right now if you don't want to watch us talk about this. So essentially their detachment, the Dawnblade contingent, so not the Hunter contingent, but the Dawnblade contingent. It follows the same rules. You need a core, and then for every core, you bring 1 to 10 auxiliary, and you can bring 0 to 1 command.
Oh, there is a command.
Yeah, there's 2 commands.
There's 2 commands, okay.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't talk about it at the top, but it does show it down here.
Yeah, it shows 2.
Yeah, so you need 1 to 10 per core of auxiliary. You can have as many core as you want, although you're not really going to bring more than 1. And they still have the same core as the Hunter contingent. They have the Hunter cadre, so that's your commander, some fire warriors, and then some elite choices, fast attack, and heavy support choices. But here's the big change. The retaliation cadre, which is in the Tau Codex, is now available as a core choice. So that's the one. We have a commander, 3 units of crisis battle suits, a unit of riptides, and a unit of broadsides. And they can automatically come in turn 2, all deep striking, including the broadside. And they all get +1 ballistic skill when they deep strike. And the broadsides gain relentless, which they love, absolutely love.
That's like the old Deathwing rules that they all lost.
It's okay. It's okay. But the retaliation cadre, that's kind of that really embodies what the Farsight Enclaves is.
That is the Farsight's more aggressive. I want to get really close to my enemy type.
Yeah. Now the Farsight Enclaves can totally play without battle suits. That is still fluffy to play them without battle suits. It's just that they really like the Mont'Ka, the killing blow, which usually involves precision strikes of bring your enemy out in the open, then boom, 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 hit them with all these battlesuits coming
Straight to
in.
the job, get it done, go home.
With artillery in the back, and just, yeah, you minimum, the idea is minimum Tau casualties and maximum firepower, just really, really quick. Just cut them off and be done with it.
Yeah, Tau's a problem, firepower.
Yeah, it's not, they don't like attrition. They just don't like it. They don't have the bodies for it. They're not dying off like the Eldar, but they're not a huge, endless empire like the Imperium.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so they need to win in these asymmetrical battles. So the retaliation cadre being the core is already a big deal, because the command benefit for this attachment, not only do they get to reroll their warlord trait, which is a big deal, I think, for Tau, because there's some really good warlord traits in there, but they also gain the killing blow special rule.
I like it.
Which basically is, at the beginning of your enemy's turn, you secretly choose a unit and write it down, and then during your turn you get preferred enemy against that, and you get to change that every single turn.
So when I first saw this, I'm like, okay, most of the other detachments have multiple command benefits in this major detachment. This one only really has one additional one. It's like, oh, a little lackluster. You know, read it, like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's awesome, I can tell you that, because the Tau Hunter contingent is already good at taking out Death Stars because they can combine fire. That's kind of their thing. So this is kind of like that, where you're like, there's that thing I really want dead, so I'm going to choose that one.
Being able to choose every turn what you need to focus on your following turn it's a good help. It's a big help.
Yeah, the only disadvantage is you have to choose at the beginning of your enemy turn. He doesn't know what you chose, though,
Yep.
so he doesn't know to hide it or to move in a certain way. He might suspect what you might choose, though, and act accordingly. So it'd be nice to choose it after. It's like, well, okay, now that this thing's out in front, I'm going to choose that. But it's at the same time, it works.
But the whole psychological warfare on that can really get in your opponent's head. So
yeah,
that's a good.
Because you could like stare at the thing that you're not going to choose and be like,
What am I going to write down?
when really it's something over here. Really throw them off.
Never go with Matt's eyes. Look what he's not looking at.
Yeah.
No,
unless you've heard this video, then I'll know to look at the thing that I'm actually going to choose.
This is why I can't say.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. When I play against you, I'm going to just stare at the thing that I'm actually going to choose. That'll be a mind game.
My head's going to explode
Like, yeah.
if he's messing with me.
It's like, he's messing with me,
Right,
but he
you're
knew
messing
he was
with
messing with me.
So it's the other one, but you also know
It's like,
that I know
clearly
you're
can't
messing with me.
choose the cup in front of you. But you're, what is it? But you're a pirate, and you're used to having people not trust you. As you probably do not trust me.
I think a majority of viewers are too young to know what you're talking about.
Are you kidding? They got to know what I'm talking about. So I clearly can't choose the cup in front of me. But okay, it comes from Australia. And Australian is peopled with, yeah, that's what it is. And Australia is peopled with, whatever. Can mess with you there, mess with you. Now, I want to briefly, talking about these formations, there's one I just want to quickly go over. One of the core of the command choices. You have the contingent headquarters, so the commander and ethereal thing. But you also have the 8. Now, the 8 are the famous 8 characters. They're essentially, there's Farsight as a name character, and then the other ones are named, but they're basically just, they're specified what they have to be. They're, most of them are commanders with specified upgrades, and then there's a riptide who becomes an independent character. Not that he can join anything, but he can do challenges. And a broadside as well that becomes an independent character. So you could join these all into one big squad, except for the riptide.
I like this. It's kind of, it's fun.
Well, it's not, it's okay.
It's not going to be your army. It's not
No.
going to be where you're going to play, but this is cool.
It's cool, and you get stuff like they're all fearless, and as long as they're alive.
From the modeling or collecting aspect, like this would be fun to build up and pay.
Yeah, but it's a lot of points. Like I think it would be, if I had to guess, I think it's at least 1,000 points. And this is for your command.
Yeah.
And like they can help support fire each other, and they inspire other guys to be able to stay on this field longer, and they can they have these cool things. So it's really fluffy, but I'm not going to talk about it as being this really cool thing like game wise that they got.
This is really more for modeling, painting than gaming.
Yeah, and that's, I actually want to collect the 8. I think that'd be cool. Now the problem is that the Farsight Enclaves have they have a very specific color scheme, the red color scheme. You can paint them different colors as well, but if you're going to be collecting the 8,
You got to do them in the white and red.
Yeah, you got to do them in the right colors. At least that's what I think you should do. And then we've got 8 new formations, one which is not available in this attachment, the Ethereal one. And then we have all sorts of other ones. So let's start to go through those, because I know that you love them.
There actually are a couple that are actually well written, pretty good. I like them.
Well, let's start at the Counterstrike cadre.
Is this the one with the? It is.
Okay. No. This is just a Pathfinder and the strike or breacher teams inside a Devilfish.
Yeah, but this is a really one Pathfinder team, 3 striker breacher teams in
Everything's in Devilfish.
which you want anyway.
Not the Pathfinders.
You don't want Pathfinder Devilfish? I thought
No,
that's where
because they're heavy weapons, so they want to start on the table. They want to scout forward, and then they want to stay put and fire their marker lights.
Okay. Not want to get in that Devilfish, get onto a good spot, and then it's hard to say.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't say they have to start in their Devilfish. It just says they have to
True
take
enough.
their Devilfish.
True enough.
Whereas other formations from like White Scars, so they have to start in their
They do.
transport.
There's that one really good formation.
So we get the extra Devilfish at
Getting
least.
bonuses, precision guidance. All units in this formation that are shooting at enemies within 3 of an objective marker can reroll failed to hit rolls. Anything that helps get things off objectives are great. It's a good formation. I like these kind of formations.
Yeah, and both Breachers and Strike would like that. The Strikers firing from a distance to take them down, and Breachers getting up in their face and re-rolling ones would be really nice, especially with the backup of the Pathfinders, marker lighting them first to give them better bliss of skill or ignore cover.
It's one of those formations that you could buy this to start your Tau army. It's useful, it's good, it's playable, and it's not game breakingly overly good.
No, it has Tactical Surge too, which makes all their vehicles fast on the first turn that they're on the table, whether it's turn 1 or when they come in from
That's
reserve.
actually my favorite part of this, because I think Maelstrom Wars most of us play all the time, I think, even their viewers. It's nice to be able to go really fast and get objectives if you need to.
Yeah.
Turn 1.
Turn 1,
Or
you
the
can
turn they come on.
you can go up to 30 inches because you're a fast skimmer, so 12 inches plus 18 inch flat out. So you can really get wherever you want, grab objectives right away. If you're playing vanilla Maelstrom and not like ITC ones or Adepticon ones that they changed them, then you could pull the ones that are like have twice as many as your opponent, get D3, or heck, have all of them. And then if you had first turn, you could be like just 30-inch movements.
Any
grab
army
them.
that's going to sit in the backfield, even like the Astra Militarum, it's also in this Mont'Ka book, that are high some artillery in the back corner. You want to get some marker lights on them, start firing secret missiles at them, and everything. Like that's all useful for that.
Yeah.
Mobility is good. Mobility, that's my favorite part of the game, is fast stuff.
So that was probably the least impressive out of all of them, though, because we have other ones like the Rapid Insertion Force. Also, there's not a huge amount of wow factor in this. This is a stealth suit unit, 3 units of Crisis Battle Suits, and a unit of Riptides. And essentially, the stealth team has to start on the board. And when the Crisis Battle Suits and Riptides come in from Deep Strike reserves, if they go within 6 inches of the stealth battle suits, they don't scatter, and they get twin linked on all their weapons, which
I think it's good, because it's one of those things where mobility is
It wouldn't be very hard to kill those stealth battle suits, though, if you really wanted to. Like, they have stealth and shrouded, so if you don't have ignore cover, then yes, it would be hard.
Ideally, you want to hide them at a line of sight or something.
But then you wouldn't be they wouldn't, because reserves happens
On the start
before.
of your turn, on your turn 2.
Yeah, but if you're hidden, like you don't get to
6-inch
move.
bubble. I mean, yeah, it's
But then you're too far back. Like it's just hard to do. I played a game with the other Tau Codex, not with the Farsight Enclaves, against. This battle report's not actually out yet, so I won't say too much. I basically gave homing beacons to a ton of guys, and homing beacons does the same thing, 6-inch, no scatter, and didn't get to use one of them.
Really?
The ones that survived because they weren't in the front, which is where I want my guys to drop.
Okay.
And so I just don't think that's going to help. The twin link thing is kind of nice, but once again, the Crisis Battle Suits, for the most part, want to get close. They want to use their fusion blasters and close. They want to rapid fire their plasma rifles. And so I just don't see this as being that useful formation, especially with the fact that the Retribution cadre already has 3 units of Crisis Battle Suits and a unit of Riptides. And so while, yes, the Crisises you could min-max and bring them as one squad or squads of 1, why would you? Why would you spread them all out?
This is not something you're going to see as your auxiliary.
For me, it's if I would maybe consider this if I'm bringing the Hunter cadre as my core, but if I'm bringing a Hunter cadre, then I'm probably going to play the Hunter contingent. It doesn't, like when I play Farsight, most likely I'm going to be focusing on suits because I've already got a lot of ways to do the non-suit stuff. Like some of these, if I like a specific formation, I can still bring formations from the other book and then bring them in.
Yep.
And that works just fine. So
fits.
it all fits together. The range support cadre, you like this one a lot.
3 Pathfinders teams in 3 broadside battle suits. So 3 units.
3 units of broadsides.
We got here. Double the value of any marker like counters placed on any of the Pathfinders.
By any of the Pathfinders.
By the Pathfinders for the broadside. So the broadsides count the marker lights put on by the Pathfinders from this formation is double, which is super efficient, super good on broadsides anyway.
Yeah, they're always going to have ignore cover.
Yeah.
Which they don't.
It's going to wreck
their high yield missile
vehicles
pods don't have ignore cover. But the other fun thing is that the Pathfinders gain infiltrate.
Which is good.
So they'll have
really
infiltrate
good.
and scout, remember?
Really good.
And as long as they don't move or fire anything besides their marker lights, they have Shrouded. And if you think, well, I'll just charge them, the broadsides get an infinite range supporting fire. Now, still the range of their weapons, so 24 inches or 36 inches, or actually, no, sorry, 30 or 36, or yeah, long range.
Basically, you get to put those. Even if you're deploying first, you get to put those Pathfinders on the table after your opponent into some ruins with a nice 2-up cover save,
and you can scout them.
Still fire your marker lights every turn without losing your Shrouded. It's good. It's good. It's too good. It's good.
Oh wait, we can't scout them and keep the Shrouded. The Shrouded special rule is lost immediately by any unit that moves from its starting location for any reason.
But it's a redeploy. I would think you would keep it.
That's true. That could be argued. We'll just ignore that one for now.
Either way, just infiltrate enough as a loan.
Yeah.
Put them on where you, after your opponents put their stuff down, and keep your Shrouded. I know that not every army talked about this already. Every army has access. All the newer books, anyways, have access to Ignore's cover.
Yeah.
So they're not invulnerable. They're not immortal.
No, we got 3 of them.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have something to survive.
They can get charged on turn 2. They can potentially get charged turn 1. Like they're not, but it's a nice bonus for a troop or unit that you already want on the field anyway.
Well, it can be a cheap way to bring in Pathfinders into your army as well, besides the Hunter cadre, because you could just have 3 units of 1 broadside. You don't have to have 9 of them. You could have just 3 of them with these 3 units, and the 3 of them are separated. So
you don't have to use the marker lights for those broadsides. I mean,
no, definitely not. Definitely not. So not a bad one. The Piranha Firestream Wing is 4 units of Piranhas. 1 unit has to be just 1 Piranha, and the other ones can be any number. And that 1 Piranha is a target acquisition team. Essentially, it chooses something within 36 inches, and all the other Piranhas, all Piranhas, including itself from this formation, get +1 ballistic skill and Tank Hunter.
It's a good ability.
Yeah, it says Tank Hunter if they only if they fire against a vehicle, but just say that they have Tank Hunter and
Right.
only affects anyways. So that's cool because I find that often the fusion blasters on them can be really annoying because they're only hitting on 4s and they need that hit because I get them up in their face. I get within 9 inches to get their melta range and boom, I'm rolling on 4s. And so many times I've had units of 3 of them and only 1 of them hits.
Doesn't do enough.
And it just doesn't do enough. But that's only half of the rule. They also have rearm and refuel.
This one it's frustratingly good.
It's fun. It's fun. I don't know if it's super good, but it's definitely fun.
At the end of the movement phase, if they're within 6 of any table edge, they go off.
They all have to go though.
All have to be within 6 of the table edge.
Yes.
They all go off. Leave the battlefield, go on to ongoing reserves, and when they come back on, any damage they've suffered is healed. Any drones or secret missiles they've lost or left behind are replenished.
Drones is the interesting one because they could drop off their drones and then fly off the table. Heck, turn 1, you could start them within 6 inches of the table edge, and then drop off your drones, and then just go in ongoing reserves and come back with more drones and just keep pumping out drones. Now, I don't know how good that will be because you're just getting drones, but...
it could be really annoying for your opponent. I like it. You gotta try it a couple of times. I mean, just the products alone are good enough.
I wonder if there's any rule that says that you can't go into ongoing reserves if you just came in from reserves. Because you could theoretically, on turn 2, come in from reserves, stay within 6 inches of the table edge,
I'm pretty
drop
sure
off your drones.
I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure you can because I've had this come up with flyers. You can't come on and fly off.
Well, flyers specifically say that you can't do that.
But I would think.
What, you can't just keep having them come on and pop? Bring 3 squads of 3. Don't give them any upgrades. Just give them their drone. They have their drones, and then 1 squad of 1, of course. And turn 1, poop out your drones, leave,
6 drones,
come back,
6
drones, leave,
6
drones, leave, and basically every turn you get. What would that be? That would be 6,
12.
18, 20 drones per turn.
How are you getting 20? Isn't it? Oh, it's 2 per.
There's 2 per Piranha. There's groups of 3 of them.
Yeah.
So there's
One can be. Yeah.
We're looking at 10 drones.
Target acquisition can be 1.
Yeah. So we're looking at 10 Piranhas. So you're getting 20 drones per turn. Oh, how does that work out points wise?
So you're getting 3 drones. The drone squads are form a squad, right? When they come off a squad.
Well, yeah, if the squadron come off, then you get
so
squads.
So you're getting 3 squads of 6 and 1 squad of 2. Every turn, if you really want to.
So Piranhas, just so everybody knows, they cost 40 points apiece. And so let's say they do that for 5 turns. And so 1 Piranha would generate 10 drones. A drone is 13 points apiece? 14.
Yeah.
And so...
If you want it just for the drone manufacturing.
So for 40 points, you can produce 140 points of drones by the end of the game. Well, and your opponent, unless they have Interceptor, Although, no, because it's the end of the movement phase, and since it's your turn, you get to choose the order. So you can be like, you have interceptor, end of the movement phase, mine are off. Now they can shoot your drones. That just came on. But they're shooting drones. I don't know how good that would be.
I don't know, it could be...
20 drones per turn for 5 turns. I could
nothing.
manufacture 100 drones. Now that would cost me 400 points of my army.
How far can drones move a turn?
They're just jetpack infantry. So they move 6. They can assault move.
Okay.
So,
I want to see the battle report where Matt fills his deployment zone with drones.
just bring like 2 of these formations.
So that's it. That's your army.
But that's only 800 points.
You play 800-point game and end the game of over like.
Okay, so in a 1750-point game, I could bring 4 of these formations, and by the end, hold on, what did I say? 20, 100. So in a 5-round game, I could put 400 drones on the table.
A lot of Imperial Guardsmen and Eldar Guardians proxying as gun drones.
So I guess the question would be: can you go back and undergoing reserves the turn you come off? I want to see that.
I really hope you can.
I hope you can, because I don't think I'll ever do that. But so it'd be kind of fun to try it once.
The formation, okay, Piranhas on their own, squads of 1, going off to kill tanks. You're already using them for that purpose. It's already a good formation, or you can just use them to make drones. Excuse me, from the back of my throat. It's a very good formation. Or if you want to give them seeker missiles, fire off those seeker missiles. Now seeker missiles are almost worth their points at 10 points per missile. Fire them off, take off, come back.
Yeah,
more drones, more seeker.
To me that seems more like the intent. Is that you're supposed to like use your guys, drop off your drones, fire your seeker missiles, and then go and refuel.
I would try the seeker method. I like.
You only get in every other turn then, because you got to stay on the table to fire during the shooting phase.
Yeah.
And the next turn you go in reserve, then you come back with
honestly,
more seeker missiles.
it's a kind of a joke if they go on and off at the same turn of time, pumping more drones. Though it probably won't help your game much. But the
I don't know about that.
Acquisition will, and the seeker missiles could, and probably will actually.
I'm just trying to. Okay, hold on.
You really think it's?
I will look at the reserve rules. There's nothing that said that you are restricted to going into reserves once every other turn. Because I know like the Moloch pops up and he can pop back down, and it specifically says that you can't do that on a turn that he just came in. Because otherwise people would be like, boom, 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 boom. It would be awesome. Repairing. Leaving combat airspace. Flyer make his zooms will leave the board either deliberately or by accident. This happens, it goes into ongoing reserves. A flyer cannot leave combat airspace on the same turn that it arrived. So it specifies it a flyer.
Okay.
So rules is written.
You could have
the Piranhas. You could literally just buy this formation specifically just to be a Turbogon drone spawning unit.
Blah.
Take out my drones. And the only thing that could really counter it is if you didn't get first turn and your opponent shot at them first turn. But you could just hide them in the back, like in the corner, but then I guess you want to be careful where they are.
So if you use the attachment here, the formation here, where everything's deep striking in the core, what's it called?
The retribution cadre.
So this would be a good auxiliary to bring in for you holding your own backfield objectives.
Sure, because they're also jetpack infantry. So theoretically, if you start back. Actually, this has to be within 6. So you just make sure that the butt of it's within 6. So you deploy the drones 6 inches. And then they can assault move. Heck, they could run an assault move if they wanted to. They just can't charge when they disembark, right?
You have to try it out as your
so they could actually get midfield on the turn that they're created. And so then when you come back in, you're restricted because you can only move 6 inches and disembark. So that the next one will be a little further back. And so, but yeah, they could what they make up for what they lack in being able to get to the totally opposite end, they would make up for just how many there would be on the board. Especially, I'm going to jump to the one formation, which is drones, the drone net VX1-0, which is 4 or more units of drones. These drones specifically get a buttload of special rules: interceptor, jink, split fire, outflank.
Jinking drones.
But more importantly, if at least 2 units of them are alive and on the board, all drones get +1 ballistic skill, even if they're not from this formation.
All drones.
Yeah.
You really don't have no drones now.
You know, it doesn't even say only friendly drones.
Huh. Well,
Yeah, no, but technically rules is written. Your opponent, if he's playing Tau as well, will get the benefit from you having these.
No.
I know, I don't think that's their intent, but
Rules
is written. It just says, including drones that are not part of the formation.
So you can get the 4 drone teams relatively cheap. You can buy them for this formation.
Or don't make them cheap. Make them good. Make them marker drones or whatever. Ah, no, you're right.
I don't know. If you're going to go the tactic of just pumping up more drones every turn, you want them jinking every turn.
Well, like I said, at 1750, I'd bring 4 units of those Piranhas. But that's only 1,600 points. So it still leaves me 150 points. That is 10 drones. So that's not quite enough for this. So maybe I'll drop a couple Piranhas to bring in this squad. 4 min squads of gun drones.
Play against that? Actually, I kind of do. I'm making a joke, but I kind of want to see how it would go.
And just hide them in the back because they're just there to provide the +1 ballistic skill to everybody else.
To see if you can kill more drones than you can make a turn.
Yeah. Now, in all seriousness, that Piranha thing is pretty dumb. But not as formation, but just the idea of that exploit.
No, the actual formation is useful.
It's cool.
Has nice rules.
The drone net formation is actually really, really useful, giving all drones +1 ballistic skill if there's at least 2 units from this formation alive. You have to think about what that implies. Drones that are in crisis battle suits, drones that are in vehicles, especially the missile drones
of the riptides.
on the broadsides. All of a sudden, those things aren't twin linked. They're strength 7 AP4, hitting on 5s. That extra ballistic skill could make a huge difference to their effectiveness because those guys, they just need that. And
it's another one, a really good formation.
Yeah, and on top of that, you can actually make these units useful. Like you can have, if you're not going to bring Pathfinders, you can make these 4 units all marker light drones. They're the same points cost as gun drones. So points-wise, you're not changing anything. And so you could have 4 units of marker light drones hitting on 4s, so they're hitting the same as Pathfinders.
Yeah.
Because normally they would be hitting on 5s.
Better toughness.
Toughness 4, jetpack infantry.
So you can marker light and then get out of the way?
Then they're relentless as well, so they can move, marker light, and get out of the way.
Oh, these are way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah, right? Oh. So this is what I'm trying to say. If you're playing Farsight Enclaves, you can quite easily never see an infantry, besides jetpack infantry, you never see like just a foot slogging fire warrior or pathfinder on the table.
That's cool.
And it's actually quite playable and quite doable and fun. And well, at least for the person playing Farsight Enclaves.
It can be fun for your opponent. I don't know if it is.
We also have a couple formations that one of them is 3 Ghostkills and one is 3 broadsides, or sorry, 3 riptides. Both of them, if you fire, if one of the Ghostkills fires at another thing that the Ghostkill already fired at, they get an extra ballistic skill. That's okay. But they each have their own interesting rules. The Ghostkill wig is if any friendly units within 12 inches of 2 of them, they get stealth.
Yep.
And you pointed out, and they get shrouded if they already have stealth. Now, I don't have a lot of stuff in the Tau book with stealth,
right?
Unless it already also has shrouded. But then you pointed out first turn could be night fighting.
Night fighting.
And night fighting specifically gives stealth, not +1 cover, it gives stealth.
Giving the majority of your army a nice 2-up cover save.
Yeah, out in the open they have 4-up cover.
4-up cover.
Any cover whatsoever, they have 2-up. So first turn.
It's a nice ability. You're going to bring Ghostkills anyway. They're good.
I don't know. They're expensive.
They fit into.
And I'm already. They do. They totally do. They 100% do. There's even one of the Farsight characters in one of the stories who gets inside of a ghost wheel.
Okay.
There's no the Ghostkill. There's no way to do that in the actual book, which I'm kind of disappointed in. But it's one of the 8. The one girl, I can't remember what she's called. Shadow Sun, I think is her name. But anyway.
Shadow Sun's the stealth suit one.
Yes. And so
she gets into the...
She gets into Ghostkill in one of the stories, but we never actually see that. Unless it's in the 8 and I missed it somehow. Yeah, just kind of giving that extra stealth. Now I'm really curious. Oh wait, no, she's not even in here.
She's not in the 8, eh?
She's not in the 8. I thought she was.
You're also getting Phantom Charge. I mean...
maybe it was that. Maybe it wasn't Farsight. Maybe that was just a regular Tau. Yeah, that was a regular Tau. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. So anybody charging, one of your own Tau units charging enemy, if they're within 6 of your Ghostkills, you can Overwatch against them. I don't know if you're ever going to use that rule.
No, it's only units from this formation. So it's one of the Ghostkills charges.
Formations?
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's
not a big deal, because if a Ghostkill charges and another Ghostkill's within 6 inches of that enemy, then they can't Overwatch because they don't know which one to fire at, because it's a mirage thing. So that's not a big deal. The Ghostkill one's cool for getting everything stealth, and they're Ghostkills, so they're already pretty good.
Is there any other formation you'd rather have the Ghostkills in for better rules than this one?
Well, there are no other formations that have the Ghostkills,
so if you want
except
in this,
the Hunter Cadre.
No, the stealth bubble's nice.
Yeah. I don't think I would use this one very much if I was thinking competitive. The Riptide one, on the other hand, is really cool. They have networked reactors. Somehow they figured out a way to network the reactors, which makes no sense. But if they're within 6 inches of another Riptide when they roll for their Nova Reactor or Nova Charge, they can re-roll it if it fails. That's nice. Doesn't make any sense fluff-wise whatsoever, but you know.
I've seen those Nova Reactors.
Their Battlesuit AA modules are harmonized. Their frequencies are harmonized. You know that hum in your car? Have you ever tried to match it? It's like when you're driving on the highway. You ever try to do harmony with it? It's fun sometimes. You're driving along and it's like, that's the sound that's making on the road. So you go, and you do it. It actually sounds cool. And if you get whoever's sitting next to you to do another note, like, you get this really cool harmony.
Conversations we actually have here. It really gets on the camera. That's actually Matt.
Yeah, no, that's true. I've done that before. So apparently doing that, I'm going to try to see if that actually gives me better mileage, because it works for the Tau, so maybe it works for us too. But still, they get to re-roll their Nova Charge. They have to be within 6 inches, so it kind of restricts where they can be. But then they get Riptide Hailfire, which basically turns them into Storm Surges once per game, or battle it says, same thing.
Yeah.
If they didn't move, they can activate this thing, and they basically each get to fire twice.
Not bad. If you want to bring 3 Riptides, which I've never seen a Tau player do before.
No, who brings 3 Riptides, right?
You know, I've never seen it, so you might as well bring this formation.
You know, funny enough, that was the cheesy thing to do before, but
know,
now if somebody brought 3 Riptides, I'd be like, whew, they didn't bring Ghostkills.
It's not that bad.
They didn't bring Storm Surges.
They're not being cheesy.
Yeah. And which Storm Surges is something that we don't see in this unless you bring the Hunter Cadre, which is interesting. And then lastly, we've got Skysweep Missile Defense. This one's confusing.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's a Devilfish and 3 units of Skyray gunships. We only have 1, so you're never going to see us use this. I might eventually add them. They get command override that if they're within 12 inches of the Devilfish, they can fire any number of the remaining Seeker missiles. I can't find anything anywhere that restricts.
I don't know what that means.
The Skyray gunships have 6 Seeker missiles, which are all one-use only missiles. But that's it. It doesn't say anything on the Skyray gunship that restricts how many they can have. If they sit still, they could fire all 6 of them anyways. Maybe what they mean is that if they've moved, they still get to fire all of them at full ballistic skill.
You can't speculate on what they might have meant.
I know. So I'd have to play this.
It's useless.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything because they could already do that. Because it doesn't say they get to fire at full ballistic skill. So if you move, you say, yeah, I can fire them all. But
I mean, okay, we have seen misprints before from hard copies to digital.
You can check in there. The other one they have is early warning, which they get a 5+ cover save against shooting attacks from anything that's flying, like flyers, super heavy flyers, flying monsters, creatures, and flying gargantuans.
The same way.
So I don't get the 5+ cover against flyers is not that big a deal because whatever. So this formation seems kind of useless.
Bring those things anyway.
3 of them though, and a Devilfish. Now the Devilfish you could use for the Ethereals from the Ethereal formation.
Sure. Yeah, you can keep it empty. Yeah, actually, a reason for that, but I don't see the value.
But it's a bit of a tax to bring a Devilfish, 3 gunships. So yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Ethereal Council, now this is not part of the detachment, but it's cool. It's 3 to 7 Ethereals. You can bring Aunva and or Aunshi, so they can replace some of them. They form a unit. They all lose independent character until there's only 1 left, and then they gain independent character again. And they're a unit of characters. They're fearless. They have a really cool rule. 2 things actually. Fanatical Fervor. So their failure is not an option. Special rule gives everybody the ability to use their leadership of 10 within 12 inches. This is extended to 24.
Not bad.
Huge bubble of leadership 10. On top of that, they get the collective elemental power. Now, Ethereals, there's 4 powers they can choose at the beginning of each turn. They can give, and it applies to everybody within 12 inches, non-vehicle units, which Ghostkills and Riptides are. They can either gain Stubborn, they can gain Feel No Pain, they can fire pulse weapons an additional time if they're in rapid fire range. And the other one is that they can run and then snap fire if they wanted to, so they could run and still fire. But the big thing, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
Those are good abilities.
Yeah, and the Fanatical Fervor 24-inch bubble thing is awesome. But the big thing for me is that I was looking for a way to include Ethereals in my Hunter Cadre, and the Ethereal Council lets me do that because I can just bring 3 Ethereals. There'll be a group. That's kind of a disadvantage. I'd rather stick them in with something else. They can ride in that Devilfish. That's what the Skyray gunships.
That's what the formation's for.
Or they can kick somebody else out of there.
You want them somewhere where he's going to be safe.
Yeah, so you kick them out of somebody else out of their dedicated transport and just get inside of it. They can't start inside of it, but they can get inside of it turn 1. But this is a way to do it. Not the best way, because you have to bring 3, but it's a way.
You forgot their best ability.
What's that?
Collective elemental power. You didn't explain that.
I said that, yeah. They get to use all 4 of the powers.
You said you were explaining. Okay.
Oh, did I explain it? Oh,
No, you didn't explain that.
I explained what the 4 powers
I explained
were,
what the 4 powers were.
but they use all 4 of them every turn.
So instead of picking one of those 4, they get all 4.
Yeah.
Definite
So my guys
bargain
will,
for 3.
everybody within 12 inches will always be stubborn, firing an extra shot at
Fire an extra pulse.
rapid fire range, and feel no pain 6+. That includes riptides and ghost kills.
Running and snapfire if you want.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
a little extra choice. But that's sorry, I guess I
Yeah,
forgot
that's a
to
good
tack
ability.
that on there. No, I meant to get to that. I was explaining what the abilities were, and I forgot that I didn't say they get to use all 4. And then last, actually, I think that was it. Oh, then we got the fighter one, the air superiority cadre, which is 3 razor shark strike fighters. This one's interesting. They get +1 ballistic skill against flyers, jet bikes, skimmers. So that's nice. But then they get hyperlinked drone network, where as long as one of them's on the battlefield at the start of the Tau shooting phase, you gain D3 marker lights that you can distribute however you want. So it's just you, and you.
It's likely you can rely on these to give you marker lights game turn 4 and 5. They're probably somebody alive.
Well, no, because Skywatch, units from this formation automatically enter play from reserves if there's any flyers, jet bikes, skimmers, flying monsters, creatures on the battlefield.
Well, I'm just saying, like, your Pathfinders, your opponent will try to, if they know what they're doing, have made the mistake of not doing this, but try to go get your Pathfinders dead.
Yes.
Kill them as soon as you can.
So these could still be putting marker
These flyers
lights.
can give you D3 just by jinking and staying alive.
It's at the cost of bringing 3 fighters, though. It would have been nice if it was 1 to 3,
yeah,
but
the
still.
flyers aren't that bad.
They're not bad, but they're just...
There's just so many other good things is the problem.
It's bringing 3 of them. That's kind of the detriment here. But still, I agree. I think the D3 marker lights
It's
is
a pretty good
cool.
formation. It's not one of those wow.
Especially when they come in automatically if you have any jet bikes, skimmers, flying monsters, creatures, or flyers, which
Guaranteeing when your flyers come on helps. Yeah.
most people are going to have something like that. Most.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing like Imperial Guard. And even then,
I
they,
think it's just Imperial Guard who doesn't have stuff like that.
well, they have Valkyries. Like they have flyers.
Yeah.
Everybody has flyers. But a lot of armies, you'll almost always see skimmers
Yeah.
or jet bikes.
Yeah.
So that kind of comes in with that. And that's it. And there's the 8, of course, but
Cool stuff.
we already talked about that.
Yeah.
They got their own warlord trait table, their own signature systems, which are interesting, but I'm not going to go through them all right here because I don't think, like there's some cool stuff in there, don't get me wrong.
Do you still think you like this one more than the one in the Tau book? Is this more what you think you're going to play?
No,
No? Okay.
I think they're both awesome.
Okay.
For different reasons. If I want to do an infantry-based army, I would use the hunter contingent, but I'm probably not going to be using either of these very much, to be honest.
They're good.
They're a little too good.
They're too good.
And in competitive play, I would probably say the hunter contingent. Having the retaliation cadre as the core choice and getting killing blow.
Yeah,
That's
Killing
a
Blow's
pretty.
nice.
That's a pretty big deal because you can just bring in like the drone net to support them. I don't know if it'll be a tournament list though. Tournament lists tend to min max and get weird things, so I don't know if that would count there.
I'm very sure where it goes in 6 months.
Yeah, but I would say personally, I like the choice
Overall,
because
a lot
I have
of good
access.
formations.
What's that?
Overall, a lot of good formations. Nothing bad. A couple
Nothing
really
horrible.
Good. Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
really good, and a few that are like okay.
You will
fine.
definitely see battle reports with the Farsight Enclaves using these formations. Maybe not always the detachment, but at least the formations, because they're interesting. They have some interesting stuff, and I like variety. And now that I have the Tau book and this book, I have a ton of variety, tons
You know how
of
many
stuff
points
to
you
play.
have?
I don't mean how many points. I mean the formations.
Oh,
I
you
can
mean
choose
just
from.
like okay.
Yeah, like I have 3 Ghostkills, so I don't think I have 9,000 points, by the way. I have 3 Ghostkills, so I could bring them as the Ghostkill wing from this, so 3 units of 1, or I could bring them as the one that has them with the stealth suits that let them hit rear armor and have 1 unit of 3, get the +1 ballistic
It'd be a
skill.
lot harder to have the same army list over and over again.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
really do have
yeah.
options. Now, there might be certain things that I'll kind of tend to favor because they just work well, but I think the Tau are powerful enough that I can actually gimp them with some of the not as good formations and still have good games, which I appreciate, of course, not rather than trying to min-max just to get a half-decent game in like I have to do with the Tyranids right now. So, but yeah. Anyways, we're going to have a battle report now. Farsight Enclaves versus Orcs. The link in the video description below. Go ahead and click that. And it is for our Vault members, of course. If you're not a Vault member, you can still click it, get a free 7-day trial to the MiniWarGaming Vault, get instant access to that battle report as well as thousands of others, and behind the scenes and painted tutorials and all sorts of other stuff, and help support us, keep the lights on, and allow us to keep buying models and terrain, and support our wages so we can do this full time, which is awesome. If you're already a Vault member, thank you very much. We really appreciate that support. So go ahead and click the link below. Thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.